Hello, everyone. This is James Nussbaumer, and boy, it's just a little bit before sunrise here on a very, very hot and humid Northeast Ohio, middle of July day as I await for my good friend Dirty Mike to come pick me up, and we're on our way to the links to the golf course, and hopefully are going to tee it up right as the sun is coming up, and he's due here in about a half hour from now to pick me up, and we just hope to have a day of grandeur rather than grandiosity, which is what I want to talk about today. But one of the many things that A Course in Miracles has done for me is to open my eyes to all the illusion and to all the nothingness that had consumed much of my life, and the little tricks that the ego uses to guide me toward the grand promises that it just cannot fulfill. You know, how could it? Because the ego really is a false image. It's not true to our heart. Deep to its ugly core, anxiety, procrastination at its best is most of the time linked to fear. So, trying to figure out how to undo that fear and turn that procrastination, the mental power of that procrastination into something positive before acting on the fear is the key to taking action on your dreams and your goals when you know that you should be. Shortcuts or little tricks might temporarily work, but if you don't learn to surrender those fears for the truth in your heart, they will continue to control you, thus keeping you sitting on the sidelines of your dreams as time just creeps up until the bitter end. This often winds up being a life lived under the guidance of the ego-based mind. Now, it's easy for me to see that the grandest the ego could ever be is grandiose. Grandiosity is the ego's limited kingdom. Grandiosity is expressed in competitiveness. It always involves attack, and it acts out its pompous and exaggerated form of importance or dignity. Its goal is always about outdoing, but never undoing. In its attempts to win at all costs, the ego-based mind in us will vacillate between suspiciousness and viciousness, but really getting nowhere, even at the slightest presence of the real side of you. However, where you display the grandeur that is your state of grace, the ego in you automatically feels abandoned. The ego becomes threatened by how meaningless it finds itself when it looks at the grandeur of God that you are, the light in you, the light that you are. The ego believes it must somehow retaliate and will attempt to offer you gifts just to induce you to return to the ego for safety. The ego continues to remain vigilant and suspicious, especially when a part of you seems to be trying to figure things out. This frightens the ego when you're trying to figure things out, and it shifts to viciousness when you calmly decide not to tolerate its abuse any longer. It then makes efforts for its own relief, whereby you begin berating yourself. Have you ever called yourself an idiot, or possibly worse, for something stupid that you felt you did? I'm sure that you have. Have you ever set your mind on taking action on something magnificent, something you have always dreamed of, but just possibly just put it aside? How about something such as writing a book? Then possibly you put it off by saying, well, one of these days I'll get to that. Well, my point is, but when you do get to it, you tell yourself, well, it'll be a bestseller, but maybe the day finally does come around when you do pick up the pen or get to the keyboard and start to write that book, and you think you're getting some momentum started, but then you begin telling yourself that you'll only be making a fool of yourself. Does that sound familiar? Well, how many times did you ever really end up making a fool for yourself? I'd have to say probably hardly ever, if at all. But you'll surely be jealous of the ones who, without any announcements, went ahead and did write that book. But next the ego may say or think something like, well, if I really set my mind to it, I surely could write an even better book. Does any of this even sound slightly familiar? That's just the little tricks of the ego-based mind, keeping us in procrastination mode, keeping us from taking action now on what it is that we really want to do in life. You know, it's taking action is just what we need to do. You know, I love to play golf, and so does my good friend Dirty Mike. We've been friends since our probably in our 20s, and now we try to find the time by teeing it up at sunrise, where we're done by 10 o'clock in the morning, and then we can go on with the rest of our business day. So, you know, procrastination is just another ugly face of the ego. You know, I'd like to quickly add before I end this video that I have a system that I use to claim real abundance in my life, in addition to my author business, you know, the authoring of my books. I use this online strategy to claim real abundance in my life. And if you'd like to learn more about it, down below in the description box of this YouTube video is a link that will take you to my website and a page there which will give you all the information that you need to know. I wish the best for you on ending procrastination and taking action on your dreams. God bless and have a great day.